Now starting 4.3 day 2 and getting into what I consider probably one of the most important things in terms of using trigonometry the rest of the way, and that is evaluating the special trig ratios by hand using reference triangles. Now remember, the special trig ratios, that's the special angles, those that are multiples of 30, 45, or 60. So we're going to be looking at three different examples right here. I've got a unit circle going on there as a reference for us, just to locate where we're going to be in the circle. But let's start with tangent of 300. Now for all of these, and this is going to be the theme for much of what we do the rest of the chapter, you do need to have a little picture with each one. So we're going to be drawing these pictures to represent where they're at on the unit circle, and we do one for each problem so that they're not cluttered all on this one circle here. So we've got tangent of 300. As you can see from the circle, 300 is right here. Now if we were to draw its own picture, its reference angle, or the angle that it is away from the horizontal axis, is 60. So I'm going to draw a version of that over here as best I can, making this 60 in here. That's my reference angle. And then I'm just going to complete my triangle up to here. Now from the 60-degree triangle, we know that there are a few sides that are done here. So for one thing, we know that the smaller leg is 1/2. We know that the hypotenuse is 1, but then since we're in the fourth quadrant, this is a negative quantity, and so then we've got negative square root of 3/2 for that side of the triangle. Now we want to find out what is the tangent of that. So the tangent of 300 is going to be opposite over adjacent. So then I can do negative square root of 3/2 divided by 1/2. Remember that to divide by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So now we're talking square root of 3/2 times 2/1. And then the 2's cancel, and what we're left with is just negative square root of 3. All right, so that's going to be the tangent of 300. Notice that we didn't do any calculator work to get that. We just do this all by hand by drawing a picture. We're going to do the same thing for these other ones as well. Next up, we have cosecant of 3 pi over 4. All right, that's right here. 3 pi over 4, that is 135. So the amount back to the axis, the horizontal axis right here, is a 45. So that means we're looking at our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Draw that triangle in third quadrant. It's not very good, but hopefully you get the idea. 45, and then we're going to label the sides. Now again, these sides are based on, we got square root of 2/2 for a couple of the sides. That's this one, and it's also going to include this one, but this is going to be negative since we're in the second quadrant, and then this side is 1. So we draw a separate picture for each and every one of them. Now this one is cosecant, so that is the reciprocal of sine. So instead of opposite over hypotenuse, now it's going to be hypotenuse over opposite, and in this case we're talking positive square root of 2/2. Again, when you divide by a fraction, same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, so that's like 1 times 2 over square root of 2. And if you simplify this, well, the 1 is just 1, but if you multiply by square root of 2 on both the top and bottom, then what we end up with is 2 square root of 2/2, which is just square root of 2. So that is going to be our value for cosecant of 3 pi over 4. And by the way, you can always check these on your calculator, making sure that you've got the correct mode. First one would have to be degree mode, second one would have to be radian mode, and then this third one also going to be radian mode. Now the trick on this last one, though, you'll see this is cosine of 17 pi over 4. That's not anywhere on this circle. So what we need to do is think about, how do we get it to be on this circle? One turn of the unit circle. Well, that's going to have to be with coterminal angles. And so we think about, well, let's just do sidebar here real quick. 17 pi over 4. Well, we want to add or subtract multiples of 2 pi Now in this case, divided by 4, so it's going to be minus something over 4 because we want to get this down a little bit farther. And so then we're going to do 8 pi over 4. Well, we subtract those and we get 9 pi over 4, which is still not within one turn of the unit circle. It doesn't show up anywhere. The biggest one we've got is 7 pi over 4 in terms of 4s. So I can also, just do coterminal angles again. 9 pi over 4 minus 8 pi over 4, which is going to be pi over 4. So this thing right here, cosine of 17 pi over 4, is really the same thing as the cosine of pi over 4. And if we're doing pi over 4, then we go over here, we look in our unit circle. That pi over 4 is right here in the first quadrant. So if we draw a picture of this, we are looking at a 45 in that first quadrant. Here's the reference angle. And then each of these sides, this leg and this leg, are going to be square root of 2 over 2. Hypotenuse is 1 as usual. And so now we just have to do cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. And since it's 1 on the bottom, we can just say square root of 2 over 2. And so that's our third ratio from this one. So we started up here with tangent of 300. We drew a picture for each one of these. That's really important to me that you're drawing a picture for each and every one of them. I know that they're all on the unit circle, but the picture kind of just isolates it, and I'm going to expect to see that kind of thing on quizzes and tests.